Are the Baltimore Ravens on the verge of a game-changing decision? After an impressive performance from one of their wide receivers, the question on every fan's mind is, should they prioritize this rising star over a big-name signing? The Ravens have made waves by bringing in a new weapon to bolster their already potent offense, but with minimal impact so far, it's time to rethink their strategy. Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what's happening in Baltimore. If you're a Ravens fan and want the latest updates, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Last night's showdown between the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals was not just another divisional win. It was a revelation. Folks, let me tell you, Tylan Wallace is turning heads, and rightfully so. With just 5 snaps, he racked up 115 yards. That's over 20 yards per reception. His explosive playmaking ability has sparked a serious conversation among Ravens fans. Should we be seeing more of Wallace? Meanwhile, the Ravens made a significant move at the trade deadline, bringing in Diontae Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. This was supposed to be the cherry on top of an already potent offense, featuring playmakers like Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and Derrick Henry. But here's the kicker. Johnson has hardly made a splash since his arrival, playing only 22 snaps and being targeted just twice in 2 games. So, what does Tylan Wallace's rise mean for Diontae Johnson? The front office made it clear why they wanted Johnson. With Lamar Jackson having a career year, they envisioned him as the final piece to a potentially unstoppable passing attack. They believed that this would give Jackson limitless options, especially when facing those tough AFC defenses come playoff team. But let's be honest here. The lack of involvement from Johnson is raising eyebrows. It's hard to ignore how other new receivers around the league are quickly making their mark, while Johnson is sitting on the sidelines. Now, the Ravens aren't throwing in the towel on Johnson just yet. Head coach John Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Todd Monken have stressed the need for patience. They're talking about easing him into the system, possibly gearing up for a strategic ramp-up as we head towards the playoffs. Johnson himself hinted at this in a cryptic tweet saying, "There are always 2 sides to a story, but after what we saw from Wallace against the Bengals, it's hard not to argue for his increased usage." Wallace's standout performance demonstrates he's a legitimate deep threat. He can stretch the field and take the top off defenses. Analysts are buzzing, suggesting that the Ravens need to capitalize on this momentum. But here's where it gets tricky. Incorporating both Wallace and Johnson could be a tough balancing act. Baltimore has a limited number of snaps to go around, and prioritizing one receiver often means taking opportunities away from another. For a team that thrives on spreading the ball around, adding more snaps for one player could disrupt the rhythm of the entire offense. Now, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. The Ravens invested in Diontae Johnson for a reason. It's hard to believe that General Manager Eric DeCosta and Harbaugh would scrap their plans so quickly. Yes, Wallace is emerging as a valuable asset, but the coaching staff likely sees Johnson as a key weapon they'll need when the games matter most. Right now, it's all about trusting the process. The Ravens seem committed to a long-term strategy, hoping that Johnson will pay dividends when it counts. But let's be real, Ravens Nation. We want to see results now. It's frustrating to watch a talented player like Johnson not get the opportunities we expected. So, I'm asking you, do you believe this is the right approach? I'm honestly back on this one. On one hand, I see the potential in Wallace, but on the other, I can't shake the feeling that there's still so much left in Johnson's tank waiting to be unleashed. So what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Are you ready to see more of Tylan Wallace? Or do you think Diontae Johnson just needs more time? Share your expectations and frustrations with me. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow Ravens fans, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates. And hey, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the action. Let's keep this conversation going. Ravens Nation.